Hey everyone, what's up? It's John. All right, this is for instructional purposes only for individuals who are going through the training of the Jellybond, not to be shared out in the public. All right, so this is just for you and only you. All right, so how it works. Okay, just make sure, you should know this already, but your sculpting pins should be bent the way it is. Okay, pictures should be sent to you in regards to making sure it is bent this way, like an L/J. All right, all of them, all six of them in your dapping dish. I put about a quarter of acetone, has to be 100% acetone. All right, nothing else. Don't use alcohol, don't use any of those other products because it's not going to clean these sculpting pins as what we need to. All right, so with the formulation, as you should have already received the booklet, and the booklet there's a color chart. The color chart talks about the jet, clear, and the flex, and also the powder, the fiber powders of Jellybond to be placed in it, depending on what color you need. All right, but I'm just going to go straight to the step on applying first the jet. Make sure you shake. Make sure it's covered. Okay, you're going to be using this part, the top part. The second part of it is for if you need more, you can mix it there. Or let's say if you're finished with one eyebrow and you need more for the next eyebrow, you can put it there. All right, one drop, depending on your ratio, on how dark you want it to be. Use your key chart. Don't let the sculpting adhesive bond sculpting, okay, dirty at the tip. Make sure you wipe it. Make sure also this doesn't drip. All right, wipe it well. Always keep the bottle straight up because it can adhere together and you're gonna go crazy if it does. All right, and then that's the clear. Okay, 3 drops of that. Remember, the formulation is always 4. 1, 2, 3. Because you already put 1 drop of the jet, and then now I have the flex. Shake that as well. Okay, you have to make sure it looks cloudy under here, all right? Because if it's not cloudy, then it's not mixed correctly. All right. I myself have trouble sometimes opening this is one of our new cats, but just twist it. Okay, 1 drop. When you do this, make sure don't do it in front of your clients. You want to make sure you look like a professional because sometimes you can struggle with the flex, which I do sometimes. It's just the way how we have to package it because we can't let air in there. Okay, so then after that, the powder. The powder holds the base down, okay? Hold the base down so it doesn't spill. And you're gonna have the scoopful. Not too much, less is more. Don't put too much. Okay, and how you put this in, you're not going to just dump it in, all right? You're going to spread it throughout, a thin layer throughout. Okay, let me see if I can capture this. Okay, dab it throughout. Okay, then after that, you're going to break it up. You don't want to create a ball. Cornstarch, when you put it in your food, the soup base or whatever, you want to make it thick. If you just throw it in there and then start not mixing right away and just stirring, it's going to come chunks of cornstarch balls or flour balls, whatever you use. Same here, you want to break it down. All right, now what you want to do is, of course, dip this spoon. Well, wipe the spoon first. Get as much of the sculpting out. If there's any left, just dip into the acetone real quick, and then you might have to use your nails covered by the lint-free gauze. So just in case if you have a manicure, it doesn't ruin your nails, but then just make sure it's totally clean, your spoon, okay? Okay, there we go. All right. And again, make sure you cover your powders. Cover it very well. Make sure it's totally covered correctly, because I've seen some students accidentally spill this whole thing and thinking that they closed it, but they didn't really. All right, so it's closed, shut, tight. Not so tight that you won't be able to open it up again. All right, so then now let's get to the sculpting pins. Right, you're going to get the sculpting pins and you're going to dip it in there. Okay, and as you dip it in there, you're then going to swipe off all the sculpting gel. There should be no sculpting gel visible. All right, so it's nothing visible. And then you smash it, you stamp it, and then you drag it down. Okay, I don't know if you can see from there. It's right there. Oops. Oops. Let me actually show you. I actually spilled some of it.
I want to start breaking down the boxes.
All right, here it goes. I'm gonna have here, and I'm gonna have you stamp it and slide down. See? You should be able to see that. Looks like a hair stroke. All right. So then change the pin. As a beginner, you should always change your sculpting tool. All right. Dip it in there, and then wipe on the side. Okay. You're not supposed to see any of the sculpting. Then you press it. Yeah, and then you swipe. Okay. See that? So you're going to do that if you wanted to have the microblading look or hair stroke look with the gel. And again, stamp it and swipe down. Okay. The more pressure you put on, the fatter the hair stroke is going to look. So don't press too hard and do not stretch the skin. If you stretch the skin, then it's going to regress back to its normal state, and then after that, when it dries up, it's going to look like scabs, or it's going to look kind of weird. It's not going to look like hair strokes. All right, and it can actually raise the Jellybond sculpting even more and make it look unnatural and make it white and flake. Okay, so less is more. All right, so but if you're going to want to create like more of a shading aspect of the brow, just to cover up bad permanent makeup or faded permanent makeup, put the stroke, and then after that, brush against it. And then you continue to do so as if you're doing hair strokes throughout the whole brows. Okay, and just brush. What happens here is that you're preparing it not only for the makeup look by doing this way and covering up the previous color of the brow or the brow hair or the brow permanent makeup that needs to be changed in color. But what's happening here is that if you do brush it this way and put a whole thin amount throughout, you're prepping it for the eyebrow extensions. All right, you may not see the spread, you may not see it migrate, but when you are brushing it like this, it is migrating, which will enable the bond for the extensions to stick and last up to 2 to 4 weeks. All right, so that's my tip for right now. Okay, so once again, what you want to do is you want to spread out evenly the powders, and then afterwards break it down. Don't immediately start stirring it, or it's going to create that ball. And if it has created that ball, please start all over again. All right, and everything should be a nice consistency and very smooth and thick. And then after that, that's when you would stamp it. But before stamping, make sure that the sculpting pin looks like there's nothing in there at all. All right, it's hidden and there's the little frills. Okay, I think that's what you call it, right? In between. Okay, and that's where the sculpting gel is hiding in between. All right, because if you do see any in there at all, or a dot of sculpting, or if it looks dirty, do not swipe it. You're gonna ruin your work. All right, it's worth it. It's gonna come out beautiful. Just have patience. Switch out your sculpting tools, tentacles, after every single swipe. As you get faster into it, then you can do probably 2 or 3 swipes with one sculpting pin. I call it a sculpting pin or sculpting spoon or tentacle, so don't mind me. Sorry about that. But you understand what I mean. Okay, so do not stamp it with product visible. All right, take care, guys. Bye-bye. All right. Yes, it's supposed to look like this. All right. Well, sort of, kind of, but the base of the area that you're going to be using the brow extensions, you're going to be, putting hair strips, but then brushing it out, and it's normal to look like this. See, as you can see, a slight shade of it migrated because of me brushing it with a mascara wand. Okay, and I'm going to be adding the extensions right on top of this. All right, so to have it look like this initially is okay, because we don't want a solid color, because it's going to start peeling off if you put too much of the Jellybond sculpting. All right, guys, here's a trick to remove a dark hair stroke or any type of mistakes. This can be actually done within the first 24 hours. All right. But let's say right here, it's too dark, because you really just want to do, a nice light shade to be able to put the brow extensions on. And this is, so what you do here without damaging the person's skin, okay, you can easily peel off. See? That dark right there. Looks like hair. Crazy, right? But yeah, you can actually just peel it off. So you don't actually have to put the remove for a little minor mistake. If you have to use the remove, it can disperse to the other areas, and then later on, your whole eyebrow will start falling into pieces. All right, so let's say we do want to remove a certain amount. It's not a hair stroke. It's the shading part of it. It's not as you want it to be shaped, as you see here. It's kind of, there we go, out of what you wanted to create in regards to the framing. You can just dip a little bit on your clean makeup applicator, and then choose the area where you want to clean it up. I'm going to clean up here, I think. Okay, and then put a light amount, and then slowly, because you just did it a moment ago, you can easily just wipe off the excess amount. Okay, as you see there. All right, but what I want to do too is that you don't forget this, is that you want to spray the Hydro Cleanse Mist again. Okay, to clean the area, to prevent the remove other pieces of the brows when you sweat, or when you walk around for the rest of the day. It's not going to start migrating to the areas where you want to keep the bond. All right.